Yes, the MacBook Air 15-inch is a supersized version of the 13-inch, but Apple is adamant that making this thing wasn't as easy as simply stretching the screen a couple of inches. You also get a bigger touchpad, more speakers, and based on our testing, even longer battery life. I had a chance to sit down with Apple and ask two of their execs, Kate Bergeron, Apple's Vice President of Hardware Engineering, and Laura Metz of Apple's Mac Product Marketing team, what went into making the thinnest 15-inch laptop ever. The MacBook Air 15-inch measures just 0.45 inches thick, which is just a hair thicker than the 13-inch Air's 0.44 inches, and this was by design. Kate on Apple's engineering team says that Apple set the 13-incher as the target, and the team really had to focus on reliability and durability to the larger screen size. Apple used a structural adhesive to attach the panel to the chassis to make sure the LCD is really sound. I was also curious why Apple chose 15.3 inches as opposed to 15.1 or 15.4, and the answer is not that Apple just wanted to think different. It's that the engineering team worked with the display team to see how many panels Apple could fit on a large set of motherboard glass. And since they had the opportunity to push out to 15.3 inches and cut the glass to that size, they decided to go a tad bigger than 15 inches and give users a bit more real estate. In addition to a 25% larger display, the MacBook Air 15-inch sounds better than the 13-inch because it adds two more woofers. That's one of the ways Apple wanted to take advantage of the larger footprint. But Apple also wanted to deliver a larger trackpad than the 13-inch because you have that extra real estate. Apple also shared with us that it needed to grow the battery in order to reach that super high 18-hour battery life claim. The efficiency of Apple Silicon plays a big role in how long the Air lasts on a charge. We saw 14 hours and 59 minutes in our battery testing, which is even longer than the 13-inch Air's runtime of 1406. But Apple shares there's more to it than just the M2 chip. Kate on the engineering team says that Apple can take advantage of gaps in your workload to draw down the power to a minimal level. And the Air is smart enough to know when you're watching video and can optimize the silicon for encoding and decoding video streams. It can be a bit confusing for someone walking into an Apple store and they see a 15-inch MacBook Air and 13-inch MacBook Pro at the same $1299 price. But Apple says there's room for both machines and they're for different target audiences. Apple's Laura Metz says that they stayed true to the Air's value proposition despite the premium, and that because of the leap in M2 performance versus premium Intel machines in a fanless design, that shoppers will respond favorably. And even though the Pro is more advanced, content creators can still do casual photo and video editing on the Air. The 15-inch Air has the same port selection as the MacBook Air 13-inch, which means two USB-C ports, a headphone jack, and a MagSafe connector. That's nice, but it seems like there's enough room for at least one more USB-C port. Apple told us that it was about keeping things consistent across the MacBook Air family, which I get, but it's still a bummer. At least Apple includes a dual-port adapter standard, so you can charge your iPhone and MacBook Air at the same time. I asked Apple what the biggest challenge was overall with the 15-inch Air, and Kate on the engineering team had an interesting answer. It all comes down to quality and feel, and she gave me the example of picking up the system by a single corner and making sure it feels durable without any creaking, which I've experienced on other machines. It's something that Apple doesn't even want you to think about, which I can appreciate. That's just a quick overview of how Apple made the 15-inch MacBook Air. Check out our full MacBook Air 15-inch review on tomsguide.com and stay tuned for our video review as well. In the meantime, if you have any questions about this laptop you want answered, just let us know in the comments. And be sure to follow us at Tom's Guide on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and more. For Tom's Guide, this is Mark Spoonhour.